Hi guys, this is just going to be a quick overview on the John Brown debate. I'll talk about our tips for debating, what makes a good debate, and just the project overview as a whole. Okay, so we have 4 keys to debating. Number 1, you are not necessarily right. Okay, the whole point of debating is sharing opinions. So opinions are not right or wrong, okay, because they are opinions. So let's keep that in mind when we're debating. Separate yourself from your beliefs, right? Sometimes people get aggressively passionate about what they believe in or what they're debating. We need to not be as aggressive, right? We need to be civil and respectful of the other sides. It's okay to adjust or change your beliefs throughout the whole course of any debate or this debate. Somebody could say on the other side something where you are like, oh, that is something I've never thought of, or I never thought of it that way, or I agree with that. Okay. It's okay to change your beliefs over time. It's called growing, right? Growing up. If you take time to express to the opposite side why your beliefs are sound and make sense, and they still don't agree, it doesn't make that person a bad or evil person. It just means that they are choosing to remain ignorant to the other side of the argument. Okay. So, remaining ignorant, meaning they refuse to see the other side and they refuse to even listen. It's like a little kid on the playground where they're covering their ears and going la 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 la, not listening, right? That is kind of what that is, right? And we always want to see the other side of things, right? Because there's always another perspective that we can learn about. Tips for debating: make sure your tone of voice is loud, but not too loud, right? You shouldn't be screaming and you shouldn't be whispering. Okay. You should be making your statement heard without being on one end or the other. Okay. Trying to talk over each other, we're not going to do it. Okay. We need to be respectful and wait our turn and be respectful when other people are talking. Use humor and take humor, right? No inappropriate jokes, no jokes not related to the subject matter. But if you have, a little bit of a jab or a joke at the other side's argument, be able to take it right, respectfully, and be respectful when dishing it out. Okay. Ask questions instead of making statements. This is how we are learning about the other side, is we're just asking questions. Don't try and trap somebody into saying something by asking a question, right? We don't want to do that. But we do want to understand the other side. Active listening, so nodding and restating to make sure you understand the other side. Show them that you are listening and that you understand what they're saying. Find common ground. So you may agree with parts of their argument, but not others. So say, yes, I agree with this, but I still disagree with this, or I still don't understand this. So we know specifically where we agree and disagree. Do be prepared to do your research, state your argument, and have relevant facts to support the argument. Listen to your opponent and respond directly to what your opponent says. Don't interrupt other speakers when they are speaking. Use personal attacks towards opponents. Shout or use inappropriate language. Include false evidence or facts in your speech. Don't make the debate personal or take it personally. Okay. When we walk out of social studies, we're all going to be friends or at least civil with each other, right? We don't want to get too heated that we break up friendships, right? Primary and secondary sources. The biggest question to ask yourself whether or not something is a primary source or a secondary source is, was the person telling the account actually at the event? Okay. Is it written around the time or at the event? Primary sources, for example, are written by people who experience an event. So diaries, journals, speeches, autobiographies, photos, videos, interviews, oral histories, things like that. Secondary sources are things written by people that were not experiencing the event, written way after usually. So newspaper articles written after the event, textbooks, biographies, encyclopedias. Those are just some examples of each. John Brown is what we are going to debate on. If you forgot what side you're debating, I've put a list on Google Classroom, should be in this post or in the stream in one of the posts that I will post, right? He was known to have this piercing eyes, this really rock hard stare. maintaining eye contact, intense eye contact. He was very passionate about advocating for the horrors of slavery. That was his main talking point whenever he met somebody new. He was a huge advocate for the anti-slavery movement. At 12 years old, he saw a slave who was around his age being whipped, and that kind of sparks his whole life mission to end slavery, right? It was kind of like his origin story. He was an abolitionist, meaning a person who opposes the practice of slavery. He had carried out an anti-slavery campaign from Kansas to the east. He had planned to originally raid a federal arsenal or a gun warehouse and steal weapons to start a revolt, but he was unsuccessful and captured, found guilty, and sentenced to death along with others, but not before killing many, many, many people. So that brings me to your debate, okay? You should have had a worksheet. If not, it's on this post, okay? So if you lose it, it's online for you to print off. I am asking you to state whether John Brown was a hero or a terrorist. That'll depend on what side you're on. Okay, I told you in class, if again, you forget, it's on Google Classroom. You're gonna come up with 3 arguments with evidence to support it. In that packet that I gave you, there is already sources that you can use. If you would like to use another source that you find on the internet, just make sure that you say what source you found, okay? But that is optional. All of the sources that are in the packet is fine to use. You need at least one primary source, which is on the back page of that packet, is our quotes from John Brown. That would count as your primary source, okay? So you don't have to go on the internet and find new sources if you don't want to, right? What argument did your opponent make? We can't answer that until we, do the debate. So when the other people are talking, you are going to write down what arguments they're making. A rebuttal, meaning a response to somebody's argument. So one team will make a statement and explain, and then the other team will have a chance to respond to that statement. That's a rebuttal. Once again, we can't do that one until we start the debate. I will decide whether or not your team won. If your team won, you get those 2 points. It's supposed to be. It's wrong on here, but if you don't win, you lose 2 points. Okay, it's not that much. Extra credit if you dress up, so just wearing a nice outfit. Don't be coming to school in sweatpants and trying to convince me that that's a nice outfit, okay? Just your nicest outfit that you own, okay? Some people came in suits last year, so if you want to do that, I might wear a suit and a tie that day. Why not, So once again, you're researching why John Brown was a hero, and then explaining why, if you're on that side. If you're on the other side, you're doing the same thing, but explaining why he was a terrorist and finding 3 of the best reasons why. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to personally believe in one side or the other. This is just to show me that when you're given a topic, you're able to come up with evidence to support it, okay? You don't have to believe one or the other personally. You'll be chosen to debate the topic in class next week, okay? So make sure you're working on it in the meantime. And that is all I have for you. If you have any questions, email me, talk to me in person. If not, good luck. Godspeed.